Ministries. Time in the 7:30 p.m. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the Living One. You know, my views are dropped off the face of the earth, man, and it's really frustrating that two and a half years ago when I started my channel, I was getting 40, 50 to 100, 130 views on my channel. Now I'm lucky if I get double digits, if I get 10 or 11 views. So the last few videos that I've done here, these 4 live streams I've done, and this is my 5th live stream that I've done, have really been informative videos, accumulating 29 minus 237, and then 4 or 7 more right here will be 43 views in 4 videos. And I used to get that many views on one video, and I was happy with that. I was pleased with 40 views. But when you're receiving 40 views on a video and then all of a sudden your balance goes down, the views go down, the comments go down, the likes go down. I was getting 5 to 10 comments. If you go back and you look at my older videos, I was always getting 5 to 10 comments, at least 5 to 10 likes on the content that I sharing. Today, I barely get a like. I get a couple likes here, you know, a like here, a like, 2 likes. Here I get 4 likes. It's because I'm sharing something of somebody else's. I got 3 likes. So, but I used to get 5 to 10 likes all the time. And so it's really frustrating when you spend as much time going through this content and this information and trying to explain to people what's going on. So these videos, especially the last ones, this movie with Denzel Washington is playing on Facebook right now, or is playing on YouTube. It's an extremely good movie, and I want you to go and watch the movie. And then after you've watched the movie, I want you to come to my channel and tell me what your thoughts are, because I'm going to show you right here, right now, Denzel Washington gets placed inside of this. Images of CERN. Okay, they open up this window, they put him in this part right here. They put Denzel Washington in this part of CERN right here, and they close him in. And they talk about the power grid, how they send a piece of paper through a power grid, and that piece of paper takes so much energy to transfer from one point A to the other point B, point A to B. And what does it do? It causes a power shutdown. They're telling you what's going on. This is why the world wants you to sign up with the satellite power, because they need more power to power this grid. Because you got to understand that this reality that we live in is centropy, all right? And centropy is the electrification of this materialized world. We live in an electrified world. This is why images of Thor with his electric hammer, they're showing you over and over and over, folks, that we live in an electric field. This world is not real. Candace shoots an arrow at the sky. So in the Hunger Games, see, shooting arrow at the sky in the Hunger Games. Oh, it's the music video. Hold on. So here, this is a field. It's an energy field. The firmament that is above us is an energy field, and they keep showing us over and over and over in Hollywood that there is a firmament that is above us. They show us in this movie here. King Kong throws a spear at the dome. I have to pause this for a minute and do a little intro, because if I let anything play longer than 10 seconds, I'm screwed. My channel will be shut down. And at this point in time, folks, when you have, let's see, when you have 698 videos and coming up on 3 years of work, or 4 years in November will be 4 years. That's a lot of content to lose. And all I can say is, whoever shuts this channel down, I will hunt your ass down when my spirit leaves my body, and I will gut you. You understand? You cannot touch my channel. Anyone who touches my channel will pay a high price. You'll pay the price of death be upon you. I will haunt you in the life after. My spirit will come for you, corrupted politicians, all you dirty CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mr. Wonderful, Mark Cuban, all you billionaire, all you fuckface motherfuckers. That's right, you heard me. I will destroy your fucking rotten piece of shit asses. I can't believe that you people still vote for politicians and you think that they are going to save you when there's nothing that they can do to save you. There it is again. So I just showed you Candace does the same thing. King Kong does the same thing. All these movies are showing you over and over. Kansas album cover. Boston album cover. You say one cover, and what do they give you? This one right in front of your face. What is that? Now, I'm not saying we live on a spaceship, but God does plainly say, does anybody know what the earth is hung on? No. But there is absolutely a firmament that is above us. And they're showing you. And then people mock you all day long. "25 parables prove that we live under a flat earth." You see, we know that we live on a flat earth because everybody tries so hard to debunk it. They want you to live, they want you to believe. Hold on, that's not what I was looking for, but let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Eric Dubay. I watched this video last night. I think that you guys should watch it as well.
Ball inside a wooden box, and then later I showed you the closed wooden box and said, "There's a blue ball inside this box." You could only believe or disbelieve me. You couldn't know for sure. But I showed you the closed wooden box, and then later I showed you the blue ball inside this box. You could only believe or disbelieve me. 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 You could only b until I actually opened the box so that you could see for yourself. You wouldn't and couldn't know with certainty whether a blue ball, something else, or nothing at all was inside the box. This kind of hearsay is second-hand knowledge, which is simply a belief in someone else's claims.
This gentleman here, I love Eric Dubay, man. I love his content. And I love his analogies. And when you look at the solar system here, what is that? That there is CERN right in your face.
And is very different from first-hand knowledge. First-hand knowledge comes from direct personal experience. Once I opened the box, revealing the blue ball inside for you to see with your own eyes, then it would become first-hand knowledge, and no longer a belief. Now what if I secretly took a picture of the blue ball sitting inside the open wooden box, and then later I showed you the closed wooden box along with the photograph? In this instance, would you know that there is a blue ball inside the box? No. Once again, until I actually opened the box so that you could see for yourself, you wouldn't and couldn't know with certainty whether that picture was of a different box, if the ball was removed or replaced after the picture was taken, or if the picture was completely doctored and faked. Just like hearsay is belief in someone else's words, photos are belief in someone else's pictures. Both are second-hand sources of information, and neither can be known, only believed. So when NASA and the world's space agencies present us with pictures of a blue ball in outer space, or their astronauts tell us that Earth is a blue ball in outer space, do we know that to be true, or is it simply a belief? Without first-hand experience of seeing Earth from that vantage point, we cannot claim to know that Earth is a blue ball in outer space. We may choose to believe or disbelieve the words and pictures of the astronauts, but neither can be known without direct personal experience. Only a small handful of astronauts in history have claimed to have seen Earth from that vantage point, and the fact of the matter is that they could just as easily be lying as telling the truth. Likewise, the pictures supposedly taken by these astronauts could just as easily be fake as real. If we want to know something, we cannot rely on the pictures and testimonies of other people. Pictures and testimonies can only be believed, not known. So how can we endeavor to know, and not just believe, the true shape of the Earth? People and pictures can lie, but tangible substances and empirical demonstrations cannot. In your experience, the horizon is always horizontal, and sea level is always level. Still water remains flat across its surface and physically cannot show curvature or convexity upon its surface. The horizon rises to the eye level of the observer and remains flat 360 degrees around, regardless of altitude. Your every experience and every personal observation is always that of being upright on a level Earth. You have never experienced being upside down or on the sides of a gigantic globe. Even if you believe Earth is a globe, in your experience, you know it to be flat. Likewise, you have never observed or experienced the supposed motion of the Earth. Except for maybe an earthquake or an avalanche, your every experience and personal observation is that of a completely motionless Earth. In your experience, the sun, moon, and stars are all moving overhead, but the Earth underfoot is still. Even if you believe Earth is moving, in your experience, you know it to be motionless. Over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha said, "Believe nothing, no matter where you read it or who said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and common sense." To believe the pictures and testimonies of others over your own eyes and experience is a ridiculous relinquishment of discernment. It is a logical fallacy of appeal to authority and intellectually irresponsible. The very concept of belief is a weak epistemic function. Believing is what people do when they don't really know. Instead of admitting the truth, which is that they simply don't know, people often prefer to pick and choose various beliefs. But beliefs are antithetical to knowledge and become an impediment to its acquisition.
Damn
If
straight.
people accept that they don't know something, the mystery of the thing remains, and a curious, skeptical, critical mindset can flourish. If people instead choose to believe something that they cannot really know, it is nothing but self-induced delusion. Put simply, all beliefs overstep the bounds of attainable knowledge.
Facts.
Beliefs should be banished from your psyche. We should only be involved in knowing and not knowing.
Perfect.
What people believe or don't believe is unimportant and irrelevant. What matters is what we know. And when we don't or can't know something, it's important to admit that to ourselves, rather than finding some comforting belief to replace it. And that is why so many people choose to blanket themselves in beliefs, rather than admitting the simple truth.
Can somebody show me where the curvature is on that? That looks like a perfectly flat plane to me. And we live underneath of a firmament, which means the firm mind of God, like government means to govern the mind. Firmament means firm mind. You got to understand the wordcraft and the language which is going on. We've been trapped and placed underneath of a spell. Spell castings have been placed over our eyes, channeling and programming from the very beginning of our lives. This is why they stick a globe in our faces when we're 5 or 6 years old, because we're not capable of substantiating an argument against them, and we place our trust in those that are teaching us. This is why the education system is a sham. It's a shit sham.
Truth that they don't know. Because beliefs are comforting. It's uncomfortable to realize that you don't know the greatest mysteries of life. And it's much more comforting to pretend you do, by adopting a belief system that provides answers to all those questions. Then, instead of being a perplexed detective analyzing life's mysteries, you become an egotistic evangelist preaching.
Now, all praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, Supreme Creator, and graciousness to this wise person, Eric Dubay. I'd suggest for you, not believers of the spherical globe, to go and watch Eric Dubay's content. Okay, his analogies, his research is bar none greater than anyone's when it comes to exposing the flat Earth, which again is another division between the spherical globe and the flat Earth. But folks, flat Earth is what brought me into my awakening. It really did. And I just didn't open my eyes to flat Earth. I had to literally watch uh, probably 30 or 40 different flat Earth videos. And the one that finally broke through, that made me finally say, oh my God, we do. We absolutely 100% live on a flat plane. The one that broke me, that made me revert my understanding, not my belief. My belief is no more. I don't believe in anything. It's either, like you said, it's either facts. You either know it or you don't know it. But when you believe in it, you weaken yourself and your integrity to understanding. It's better not to know, and it takes an ego when somebody believes something. When you believe something, it causes division, arguments, and separation.
Blind faith. This is why I find religious flat earthers to be a paradox and a problem. Many people who know that Earth is a level, motionless plane are also believers of various world religions. Since flat Earth is mentioned in the holy scriptures of Hinduism.
Let me be clear. I'm not a believer. I know, absolutely, factually, that the earth is a flat plane. I know for a fact that there is a firmament above us. I know for a fact that this firmament rests on an ice shelf. Might as well show it to you. Images of the Antarctica. That's a pretty decent one there, but it's not what I'm looking for. Images of the ice shelf. That's a better one for you. Okay. Now, look at this picture here. Look at this picture here. And imagine this ice shelf. We've been told all our lives that Columbus sailed the deep blue in 1942 and he sailed around the world. But he didn't sail around the world as we're taught inside of the classroom. Images of a classroom globe. Okay, this is called indoctrination, folks. Okay, it's ridiculousism. This is ignorance. This is a belief system. Okay, there is. I mean, when I look at this today, and I realize, because I used to ask my dad this all the time, and they throw that little gravity. Gravity holds water that always comes to a flat surface, to a round globe. And they shove this down our faces when we're so young, like I said, so we can't substantiate an argument. Okay. The earth is curved 8 inches per mile squared. So that means over, if we go here to a calculator here, let's see. Let me pull this over here where you can see it. If we do 10 miles times 10 miles and we multiply that, it comes to 100 square miles. And then we multiply that times 8 inches squared, brings us to 800 inches. And then we divide that by 12 inches because there's 12 inches in a foot. Then we get 66.66666 square. So 66 feet of curvature must exist in a 10-mile thing. Images of a railgun. This is what they're putting on ships now. Okay? And images of a railgun being fired off.
Watch this electromagnetic railgun in action. Railguns do away with the use of conventional explosives, instead using an incredibly powerful electric current to launch projectiles far and fast. In 2007, the U.S. Navy tested an electromagnetic railgun by firing it at a world record 10.64 megajoules, and the 7-pound test slug attained an incredible muzzle velocity of 8,268 feet per second. It was estimated that the same model could spew out 20 slugs in less than 1 minute and hit targets up to 63 nautical miles away. In 2021, though, the U.S. Navy pulled the plug on the much-hyped electromagnetic railgun, shifting resources to the development of hypersonic missiles and other high-tech weapons instead. Watch this
So look at that. Okay, here's my point. That this shoots on a flat plane. Let me show you something. Images of a periscope above water. Okay, so here's the deal. You see this periscope here? Anyone will do. Okay, this has the capability to see at least 50 miles. What is the greatest distance that a periscope is capable of seeing on an ocean? 9.5 nautical miles. Okay? So I'm pretty sure it sees much further than that. Maximum, how far does a periscope extend? 14 to 60 feet long. 3 feet above the surface, we'll see a lot less than 15 above. Well, duh. All right. So 15 feet up for a periscope above water is pretty high. How high is the mast of a ship outside of an aircraft carrier? It's 244 feet from the keel, so that's got to be at least half. The flight deck of an aircraft carrier can be as high as 60 feet. All right. So, in other words, with the periscope, you wouldn't be able to see the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. You would only be able to see its radar tower and images of aircraft carriers. I'm just trying to bring you guys common sense information. I want you to start using your thinkers. So then, if an aircraft carrier's flight deck here is 60 feet above water, then 10 miles away, the only thing that you would be able to see is a portion of the radar tower. That's all you'd be able to see, folks. Nothing else. You wouldn't be able to see any part of this craft above the water. And I just can't. I mean, my family fights me tooth and nail. They refuse to hear this kind of information. Why? Because they're stuck in a belief system. They want to believe rather than know. And you must know or not know, as Eric Dubay is trying to tell you here in this lesson.
Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and others. Members of these religions often take this as proof positive that everything else mentioned in their holy scriptures must also be literally true. This is simply not the case, however, and all claims must be validated by their own merit. The fact of the matter is that flat Earth was the prevailing cosmology at the time when most of these holy scriptures were written, so it is no wonder that their worldview is reflective of that. Just because flat Earth is mentioned in the Bible, and flat Earth is true, doesn't mean that a man was born of a virgin and walked on water. It doesn't mean that snakes and burning bushes can talk. And it doesn't mean an ark could hold and feed tens of thousands of animals for months at a time. Believing these Bible testimonies.
Not only that, you gotta consider what was the crew of the ark, as we've been taught. 8 zookeepers, right? Just a simple 8 families or 4 families, husbands and wives on the ark taking care of tens of thousands of animals. How could that be? You see, when these scriptures were written, they were written by ignorant people that didn't take common sense into effect. They didn't say, well, what if somebody thinks that puts it together that how did 8 people feed tens of thousands of animals? How could that be? Even more intriguing about my question is, what did they do with all the feces and the urine that these animals would have spewed? Now, there's a new Noah's Ark out, and the new Noah's Ark that is out with, I think it's Russell Crowe. Let's see. Noah's Ark with Russell Crowe. Okay. Images of Noah's Ark with Russell Crowe. Okay. They build this ark here, And the it's cynical what they want you to believe, because what did they do with the feces and urine? Okay? Understand, if this is a watertight craft and there's nothing but a little window at the very top of the craft, as we've been told all of our lives, where did all the gas from the feces and the urine go? When the urine started mixing with feces, folks, that would have caused a nitrate, ammonia mixing with nitrates, and ammonia mixing with nitrates would have become stale. The air inside of the ark would have become deathly. It would have killed everything on the ark. You couldn't be in an ark for a year breathing in the garbage. Okay? You just can't do it. So in this one here, this new Noah's Ark that they filmed, Noah walks up and down the decks with one of those incense burners, like they walk through with in the churches and stuff, and they swing those little incense burners, and they spew incense out and stuff in the congregation and all that, which by the way happens to be witchcraft. But in this movie here, this is what puts all of the animals on the ark into a deep sleep. Now, that's how it should have been written from the very beginning. You can't turn around and change this, but I guarantee you, in the years to come, that this story will eventually change in the Bible itself, and it'll say that all the animals were placed underneath of a deep sleep, because that's the only way that that way it puts the animals away. They're not urinating, you don't have to feed them, and they're not shitting all over the place. It's the only way it would have worked, unless there are more on the ark than what we've been taught. And if there's any truth at all to the story of Noah's Ark, then it just couldn't have happened.
Testimonies of things we cannot prove or experience for ourselves is no different from believing the testimony of astronauts. In our experience, nobody has ever been born of a virgin or walked on water. Personally, we have never seen a snake or burning bush strike up a conversation. We may choose to believe or disbelieve in such things, but we cannot know them to be true. Therefore, when we are trying to awaken others to the reality of flat Earth, religious beliefs really shouldn't enter into the discussion. A flat, motionless Earth is objectively, observably, and empirically demonstrable and directly experienced by everyone. It doesn't require belief like the globe or religious scriptures. Flat Earth is backed by abundant evidence, experiments, and experience, and that is why people like myself don't just believe the Earth is flat, we know it is.
Facts. I know it is. I don't believe the earth is flat. I know the earth is flat. I know it cannot be moved. The earth is set in place and cannot be moved. Oops, excuse me. A little bit closer here. Okay, he set the earth on its foundation, never to be moved. So, if the earth was set on foundations that were never to be moved, can somebody explain to me how we're moving through space at 2,843,666 miles per hour, whirling through space, traveling at these unfathomable speeds? Okay, do you know if there was any truth at all to it? Come on, thinking common sense. At the speed that we're taught that we move through the galaxy would cause so much friction on the earth with the sun and everything, it would all be burned up. Now, NASA, which stands for never again, never a straight answer. Okay. NASA working on the IHSS. That's what I work for. I work for IHSS. That's the wrong thing that I meant. Okay. NASA in space working on the IHS space station. I'm not even sure what it's called. I don't follow this stuff anymore. Here's one.
You have said that the Artemis program is the beginning, not the end. Tell me, what is the future you see?
I see us landing on Mars. Absolutely see us landing on Mars. But we have to work through the moon to get to Mars.
These are magnificent goals. You know, going back to...
They're not magnificent goals. You know why? Let's say that it was even possible that we could do such a feat, which is impossible and it can't be done and it won't be done because we have a firmament that is above us and nothing can escape this plane of existence. It is a shit show. It's a lie. It's a story. But let's just for humor's sake say that it's possible that we could get to Mars. My question would be, how do we get there? Okay. How could you create something that carries enough fuel that could make this journey? Okay. Look at this. Launches to the moon of the Columbia. I can't play this or they'll strike me. But look at this. That's the fuel required. I mean, there's more fuel here, right? There's more fuel on this Columbia launch. (1962) launches to the moon.
America takes 2 giant steps in space.
Look at that. Look at that little old capsule on the top of this thing. And one thruster booster. I mean, really, they have shoved some shit and lies down our throats. It's just crazy to even believe in this kind of information. That we've been to the moon. You can't land on the moon because the moon is a plasma ball, folks. You ever consider that? Now, where was I here? Let's see. The Lord is talking to Job and he says, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if thou hast understanding, if you have wisdom." This is the accounts of the heaven and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made them. Remember, the Lord over here is Yahweh. Yahweh. Exodus chapter 15, verse 3, Bible Hub. Says that the Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. The Lord Yahweh We drop down here all the way to the bottom in the last 3 here. 1, 2, 3 in a row. Jehovah is a man of battle. God tells you that he's not a man. God is spirit, and those that worship God must do so in spirit and truth. Yahweh is a man of war. God is not a man. The Lord is a man of war. God is not a man. You see, I can beat this Bible up all day long. You know why? Because I've been studying it now for 8 years. 8 years. And not just reading it and opening it up and reading a little piece here and a little piece there. When I share a chapter with you, that's just a little reading a little piece. That's giving you 10 or 15 minutes of a chapter. But I'm way beyond that. In order to understand what's being said in the Bible, you have to dive deep into what the scriptures are saying. Because the more you read the Bible, the more exposed the lies are. So I'm going to keep this at a 40-minute lesson. I hope that somebody, shares the content. Somebody gives a thumbs up. Somebody leaves a comment. Somebody is grateful for the work that I put in to bring you this truth. Because we live on a flat earth, under a firmament, and it cannot be denied. And those that want to believe that garbage are just that. They're believers. They're not knowers. They're not skepticals. They're not skeptics. They question their reality. They choose to believe in a lie that has been shoved down our throat since birth. Much love to all those that are in service to the Supreme Creator, the Living One. This is White Raptor News Ministries.